It clearly seems to be a new day and age in the Cleveland sports era. You know, us fans, us Clevelanders, us diehard Cleveland sports fans just know how no free agents ever, enthusiastically want to move to Cleveland. They don't just be like, oh yeah, I get $100 million. I just want to live in Cleveland. Like, Cleveland's just so grand. This just is not what free agents do. All right, it's cold up there. The roads ain't always the best maintained. Well, not in the inner city of Cleveland. You gotta kind of live on the outskirts in the suburbs to get good. But whatever the case, it's a new era. Cleveland sports is on the rise. Now, at some point, I'll have a video about the Cavs. I don't know what the Cavs doing. I mean, I kind of know. I kind of got an idea. And then they kind of strapped. And then it's kind of their fault. But they kind of been getting played. I don't know. I mean, is it karma? They kind of... Cleveland basketball is in a weird place. Alright? But this is the video for that. This one here is about the Browns. Again, on March 17th at 4 o'clock, 2021, the NFL season truly begins. And this is when all new contracts and kickers start activating and free agents can sign deals. And, Monday, March 15th, when the legal tampering period started for the NFL, it took off. It took off in a big way. But what makes this different for the Browns is they are adding to a contending team. They have an offense that can get them to the Super Bowl. But the defense kind of not going to help them get to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But they in a position with like 9 to 11 draft picks in the upcoming draft and like $25 to $28 million in cap room. You know what I'm saying? Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Grandel Pitt, Ronnie Harrison, Sheldon Richardson, Andrew Billings, Jordan Elliott, Sayoni Taki, Mac Wilson, Jacob Phillips, Curtis Weaver, Porter Gustin. These are the guys that got AJ Green, Robert Jackson. I think they let Robert Jackson go. MJ Stewart still here. So the defense, the Browns defense has a few good pieces on there. And they have a young core already. So now they just need studs, which is kind of the thing in Cleveland. They always have all the role players you could ever want. You know what I'm saying? But they don't always have the stars so the supporting cast could be as complimentary as they could be for a contending team. I hope that came across really good for you. But let's get into the illegal tampering period for the National Football League, March 15th, 2021. Let's get into it. To kick off free agency, Andrew Berry, general manager Andrew Berry for the Cleveland Browns, has struck again. He struck again. The guy is like a sniper, bro. You know what I'm saying? He just be looking down his targets, and he got John D. Podesta over there as his spotter, and they just pow, pow. They just knock down the targets. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that metaphor in no disrespect type of way, but the precision and accuracy and swiftness that this front office has moved with in the last couple of offseason compared to the 40 regimes, transfers that happened prior to these guys coming here. Man, these guys are awesome. Okay? First signing, they get John Johnson III. John Johnson III, who's a 25-year-old, 6 foot, 204-pound safety coming from the Los Angeles Rams, who he was arguably the best defender in the secondary that had Jalen Ramsey. What? He was arguably one of the top 5 defenders in the league on a defense that has Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, and Leonard Floyd. The Browns got him. And from the reports, he desired to play in Cleveland more than somewhere else for the big money. This is a whole new day when free agents say, I want to play for a contender more than I want to play for money. And Cleveland is the place they go. So much love to Mr. Johnson for him bringing his talents to Lake Erie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was in LA. You know what I'm saying? Who leaves LA? I mean, he probably gonna still keep property out there, I was sure. Vacation home or something, you feel what I'm saying? Leave the kids out there or something. I feel you. But he gonna play football in Cleveland. You feel me? With a rich tradition. You know what I'm saying? Right from the Hall of Fame. And, you know, just from an X's and O's standpoint, John Johnson is the perfect fit. You know, I didn't get a chance to get into my free agency tiers, right? And guys who I figured the Browns would go after. Or at least I didn't get into it as much as I wanted to. You know, I wanted to do a really breakdown, bring in the PFF stats and the pro football focus stats and next gen stats, and really break it down for you why I believe, you know, certain guys fit or they should go after. But it was certain guys that didn't hit free agency, you know, especially from the safety position. Marcus May, who ended up being a little older than I initially thought. I thought Marcus May was around like 26, 27. He's actually 28. But he got franchise tagged. And I see why the Jets tagged him, being that they just brought over defensive end Carl Lawson for 3 years, $45 million, $30 guaranteed. You feel what I'm saying? And they also signed Corey Davis, wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans, and gave him 3 years, $37 million. You feel me? With like 20-something guaranteed. So the Jets making moves. You feel me? Like the Jets trying to make moves. You gotta respect that. Justin Simmons, safety from the Denver Broncos, was a guy I thought the Browns would target in free agency. Because I just felt like, you know, safety was more of the position to get a guy than corner, right? So you got a mainstay at corner with Denzel Ward, all right? You got a mainstay at defensive end, you know, with Myles Garrett, okay? You need somebody on the other 2 levels to help out. You need a safety. You need a linebacker, all right? John Johnson is a versatile safety. Justin Simmons, I felt like it's the same type of versatile safety. But like I say, Denver franchise tagged him. Then Denver turned right around and brought back Shelby Harris. You know what I'm saying? On the defensive line. Which was a great move because Shelby Harris is a phenomenal defensive tackle. He doesn't get as much love as he should. But he's definitely been great. So, like I say, he didn't hit. Denver did what they did. Now, we turn to John Johnson III. John Johnson III has already contended for a Super Bowl. He's already played in multiple meaning playoff games. And I felt like the secondary of the Browns needed to get experienced versus younger. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of youth back there. Ward, Greedy, Dale Pitt, you know, Harrison to a degree, you know what I'm saying? Young guys. Need some experience back there, especially in this day and age. You want your young stars to grow in coverage. So you want to get some guys back there that know what the hell they doing. Alright? John Johnson, I feel like, is going to play free safety. He's going to be allowed to be a ball hawk and do some of the things. I think of Darren Sharper when he played with the Saints and how he was used, to basically roam back there. So you can see a lot of that. I can see that, especially if the idea is to use Grant Delpit as the the X Factor piece, the move around guy. Line him up at linebacker, line him up at safety, line him up at slot. Okay, that's cool. I think for what they trying to do, you need two of those guys. You need, one from a over talented safety standpoint, I guess you want to say. Over talented might not be the right word, but you need a versatile guy that comes from a secondary build, and then you need a versatile guy that comes from a linebacker build. You know what I mean? So you kind of got opposites of the same thing, just for the type of matchups and versatility some of these NFL offenses bring. You want to be able to have two guys like that, because in a situation where you're playing a team like the Saints, you know what I mean, Alvin Kamara, and Jared Cook, and Michael Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Now you got more than enough guys who can handle that and still keep a guy for I know he's a free agent now, but still keep a guy that can hold down Emmanuel Sanders, or you still keep a guy that can tackle a Latavius Murray one-on-one. So John Johnson is going to allow the defense to play versatile, because not only of what his strong suit is, as calling defensive plays, getting guys in the right position, and just being a well-rounded back who has a nose for the football. You know what I'm saying? That mainstay playing your deep safety. A guy who doesn't really allow touchdowns. Cool. You start him at the free, and you put Ronnie Harrison at the strong. Now, a lot of people want to say, oh, why not put Grant Delpit at the strong? Don't put Delpit at the strong right now. Delpit coming off injury, you need to work him in. You let Harrison play that spot. And I think, because they got John Johnson, I think it'd be smart to try to bring Carl Joseph back for a couple years. Him and Harrison playing that strong rotation is quality, especially with John Johnson, because and then I understand that Carl Joseph is a former first round pick and he's gonna be trying to get big money or whatever, but I think Carl Joseph serves well coming back, playing 2 years with the Browns, you know what I'm saying, in this defense where Grant Delpit is going to be used like in a lot of zone coverage, slot coverage situations. So I don't think it'll be a necessity, you feel what I'm saying, to have to invest in a slot corner. Everybody keeps saying, oh, the Browns need a slot corner, Not necessarily, because honestly, Denzel Ward is one of those corners that you should be able to move around and match up anywhere on the field with any type of guy. The problem is you have to have people who can hold down the outside. Let's say if he has to go inside, if he has to go here, if he has to match up, but you don't want him matching up Denzel Ward against 6'3", 6'4", 6'2" receivers. I mean, he's good, but he's only 5'10". So receivers from his height, maybe a little shorter, and to like 6'1", that's the ideal range you want him checking. You know what I'm saying? A 6'1" guy ain't too big because he athletic and he fast enough and athletic enough to overcome any deficiencies from a 6'1" guy. But once you get to like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", these guys tend to be a little stronger, a little bigger, and they can just shield him from the ball. So this is where Greedy Williams comes in, and he can play the outside, even to the slot. And I'm saying all that to say, I could see them bringing in a veteran cornerback to play the number 2 corner. If you have a situation where you have, two big corners. You know, you could put Shaquille and Greedy out there. You feel what I'm saying? And now you can move Ward to check your little guy, or you can move him and play zone. So now he could play ball hawk on one side, and then you got John Johnson playing ball hawk on the other side. You feel what I'm saying? You could bring a Rodney Harrison in the box. You know, you can do a number of different things. You know, you can bring in, just say if they got a lot of tall guys on there, like how Tennessee Titans had it. You know, Humphreys is a big guy. A.J. Brown's a big guy. Corey Davis is a big guy. You don't have enough size to match up with these guys. But just say, you know, if they had that combination, you know, this year against this team, you know, you got a Greedy who can match up, who's big enough. You know, you got a Dale Pitt who can match up, who's big enough. You got a John Johnson who can match up, who's big enough. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like a Rodney Harrison. You know, you got guys who's big enough to match up, and then you still got, you know, your small guys, Denzel Ward. I would have put Kevin Johnson in there. He's 6 feet. He's like 190 or something. So, but John Johnson really brings a lot of stability and potential for versatility of the personnel usage with this Brown secondary, who greatly needed an upgrade. But as I say, look out for AJ Bowie. Look out for Xavier Woods. Look out for these guys who are veterans, who's not going to demand a crazy price, wants to play for a contender, and has, you know, either been a number one or is a number two, consistent number two corner that has number one potential. Look out for those type of guys. But let's get to the most talked about position, the most talked about needed acquisition, or, you know, hypothesized needed acquisition, however you want to go about that, which is the defensive end. Now, as I stated, Carl Lawson off the board, $15 million a year. He's going to the Jets. Trey Hendrickson from the Saints, 26-year-old DN, emerged last year, 13.5 sacks. Cincinnati just gave him $15 million a year, 4 years, $60 million to come play to be a Bengal. Yannick Ngakoue, former top pick from the Jags, who was then traded to Minnesota, then traded to Baltimore, and now he's a Raider. Yes, from Florida to Minnesota to Washington, D.C., not to Vegas. This is Ngakoue. And he signed a 2-year, $26 million deal, which is virtually guaranteed. Virtually, his whole contract is guaranteed. I think it was a very smart move by him, and I thought it was even smarter for the number of years. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the Raiders gonna do, but give it a chance. Live in Vegas. Some money. I lived in Vegas. Vegas is nice. You definitely want to get your money and live out there. You're gonna enjoy it. So shout out to him. Shout out to Trey. Shout out to Carl for all getting their money. Shaquille Barrett, big name, talked about Brown associated with that man. Tampa Bay said, he ain't going nowhere. He got 4 years, $72 million, but he get 36 up front. So you virtually signing for 9 years. For 4 years at $9 million a piece, guaranteed. But his incentives allow him to have a position to make $9 more million each year. So essentially, he could be the highest paid pass rusher right now, or close to it. I don't know. I think Myles Garrett the highest paid, but Shaquille get his due though, because $18 million a year, you guaranteed 9, and if you perform, you can make another 9. It sounds like a good deal to me. Hey, but shouts out to him for getting paid. Other pass rush, Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree leaves the Steelers, and he goes to the Titans. Now, Bud Dupree is coming off lower leg injury, so we gonna see how that plays out. But he got a 4 or 5 year deal, $16 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Get your money, player. Player, get your money, baby. I feel you. You feel me? Because if they offer it to me, I'm taking it too. You know what I mean? But, a lot of these guys were guys that the Browns were associated with getting. And it ain't really what's going on. Because that's too much money. You pay Miles as a pass rusher plus $20 million a year. His counterpart is not going to make that. You're not going to invest that on just the line, and you still got Sheldon Richardson down there, who you're probably going to have to extend at some point. He ain't going to cost you too much. He probably cost like $5 million a year, nothing else. But Sheldon worth that for the interior movement he brings. And adding Billings there, who now becomes the big body to soak up and basically allows Sheldon Richardson to play more of the Larry Ogunjobi role. You feel me? What he more suited for as the interior pass rusher who can still stop the run. Yeah, you feel me? Your defensive end over there, he probably gonna be about 8 million. You feel me? I pay my top pass rusher 20. I only got to pay his counterpart at least 8. You know what I'm saying? But he can't get 20. He can't get 12 unless I draft him and he, turns into that. But we'll get to them drafting in a second. So, who, and what will the Browns do? Like I say, the front office moving with precision. With precision, they pulled off John Johnson. I just feel like the approach is to go veteran in the secondary. So even if they don't get, like I say, the 2-type corner, I can see them still going veteran somewhere to bring in. But it'll just be one more guy. They're going to bring in one more veteran guy for that secondary. It won't be at safety. It'll be a corner. I can almost promise you that. Ideally, you will want a number 2 corner because Greedy has been hurt for 2 seasons. Even if he is going to come back this season, which I fully expect him to come back fully healthy, you still don't want to put too much pressure on him. So if you can get a guy to play the 2 and ultimately leave Greedy, Dale Pitt, Red Wine, AJ Green, MJ Stewart, basically off playing those in, slot, nickel back, dime backs, I think you're in a pretty good position. Cedric Ware, MJ Stewart, AJ Green will probably be more special teams unless they show something crazy advancement and training camp or something like that. But like I say, a Shaquille Griffin with Denzel Ward, John Johnson, and Rodney Harrison, that to me screams bring back Carl Joseph. You know what I'm saying? And that secondary, man, listen, a Browns secondary with Denzel Ward, Shaquille Griffin, John Johnson, and Rodney Harrison, just starting those 4, then you rotating, then you coming back with Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit, and a Carl Joseph on rotation. Bro, that's deadly. You feel me? And I feel like them doing that, going after the secondary guys, veteran guys who can help teach the young coming up the young prospects, but also make big impact, make big impact plays. That leaves the Browns to use the draft on the interior. Because ultimately, you got Miles for 7 years, 6 more seasons. You want to make sure that you have an interior core around him that he can grow with. All right? So, he's been playing with Taki Mac Wilson for a couple years. He's been playing with Sheldon Richardson for a couple years. You just added Jordan Elliott and Jacob Phillips. You still got Porter Gustin, and you still got Curtis Weaver. So all of these guys are young. They're extremely athletic, extremely strong, and they're going to get better. I, interior linemen on the defense is one of those positions. Is those positions kind of like running back, right? Where you can put those guys in, as long as they, got a nice IQ for the talent. You can put those guys in, and they can grow as they play. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get better just because of how football is, and the situations allow you to learn from your mistakes. So, these guys already be extremely talented. They can grow. I could see the Browns definitely drafting the two guys who I felt like they should get. And we'll get to that in a second, too. But the Browns look nice, man. Kudos to the front office, man. They doing their thing. We look better, you feel me? I got to appreciate that.
All right, there are a lot more interesting and insightful things I want to discuss with you all. So take the time out right now for me to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, or dislike. Leave some feedback in the comment section, and be ready to watch the next episode of Game Changer Sports Talk live from the marvelous Hollywood Studios on the Goonie Tunes channel.